Do you think McLaren had any shot of winning this race?
I'm going to go with a no, based off just the fact that we thought that it might just be a qualifying car that Max Verstappen had, and then beyond, I think what was it, lap 10 or something like that, when the fighting with Lando Norris and Max Verstappen sort of finished. Max gets past, and from that point onwards, he just seemed to have the better car. He's consistently apparently 3 to 4 tenths faster over the race up until their pit stop, and then obviously that's when you can't really compare the two. But the fact is that Max Verstappen, I think, was fastest on all the tyres that they were using. Very clearly had the fastest car. McLaren didn't seem to have the sort of characteristic race pace that we normally see out of them. And despite Max having sort of, very blistered tyres at one point, that might have been a concern, I think. But I don't think it was. Maybe on a faster, more twisty track with higher speed, higher, more loaded corners, I would say that might have been an issue, but it very clearly wasn't. So they could push fairly long, and I think that sort of penned McLaren into a sort of a strategy where they were relying on the low deg, and unfortunately, it ended up in a place where they were stuck between the choice of either we stay out and we definitely get second and third, or we sorry, no, sorry, we pit and we definitely get second and third, or we stay out, kind of goal hanger safety car, even after Max was safe to a safety car, was in that within that 14 seconds or so that you do need to have that gap. And they were essentially waiting for something to cut down the pit stop time and give them a cheap stop. That didn't come, and unfortunately, that's what enabled Max to be almost a full pit stop ahead. But Max had done the work early. The car was faster very clearly, and it took McLaren having to try and use strategy or the cards landing in their favour to try and extract a win out of this race. So ultimately, I think the damage was done in qualifying because the Red Bull was just a faster car in Max's hands today.
Yeah, I kind of found it was very reminiscent of the kind of the Belgian sprint race where that Red Bull was just so fast in the straights. I didn't know really matter what McLaren did, or even in the sort of the high speed corners of the high speed sections that there are in Spa, McLaren just couldn't seem to make up the deficit. But do you think that running longer and maybe pitting a little earlier for the softs, would there might have been some chance that McLaren could have made something work had they maybe with 11 laps to go bolted on a set of softs and maybe try and push? Because the gap was only around 6 seconds at the time when Max pitted. And of course, he's going to make up some time with the undercut.